Hey y'all, today we're gonna be starting some seeds, and we're actually going through a drought right now, so I'm probably gonna start more seeds than we need, but I decided this is the last weekend that we can plant seeds and still have tomatoes and peppers and all the things that take like 8 to 10 weeks. So I just went through and sorted everything on our counter and decided what is 8 to 10 weeks and what's 4 to 6 weeks, and then from there I'm gonna decide even further, like, do I want to plant this year, or could I hold off and wait and save it for next year. I found that the seeds that we buy typically do last a couple years, and so I'm not really worried about them being able to be used next year, but just want to start that process today.
So a little bit more on the drought is we're going to try to start some of these seedlings, but we don't actually know if we're going to get to plant them because we don't know if we'll actually have irrigation water to water them. But if we don't start them now, we won't have seedlings to plant if we do have water, and then it's going to be too late and we won't garden anyways. So we're going to go ahead and start the seedlings because at the cost of us not starting a large amount of seedlings, the cost of the packets are like a lot lower than if we get water and we can't actually plant them because we didn't start them now. So that's why we're going to start them in hopes that we get to plant them. So one of the things that we're going to try to do, which is another reason why we're starting seedlings, is if we don't get irrigation turned on this year, we may be able to capture some water in rain barrels and kind of ration, see how much water we get to start with, and see if we can like maybe pick a few plants that we can water with the rain barrels, and we just kind of would go into the season hoping by the time we like use some of that rainwater down, another storm comes through and we can like fill our barrel back up and try to like maybe keep a couple plants alive. So it's going to be an interesting season, but we need to start or don't do anything. So we're starting.
So now we're going to start soil blocking. So this is the process that we're going to use this year. In the past, I've done like some combination of soil blocking and starting in plastic containers, but I've really found that soil blocking is the best way to prevent like seeds getting root rot or like overwatering. And like getting root bound. And so the best part about soil blocking is that you make this little soil cube, and you don't need plastic, you don't need anything else, you really just need this metal piece. And so it really cuts down on the amount of things you need to actually start seed planting at home, or like start your seeds at home. So I'm gonna show you guys what we do. I've already mixed my soil. I have 2 different soils, one from last year and one from this year. Both are seed starting mix. Technically, the one that I got this year, I could just use on its own. But with the whole drought situation, I didn't buy more. I just bought 1 bag and decided that I was gonna use up the soil blocking soil that I have from last year, which is really just like some type of seed starting mix that I combine with compost and add in some mycorrhizae. I don't know how to say it, but basically like soil organisms that help the plant do better when it gets transplanted. So I add that in right now and add some water. So I've already mixed it all up, and I added the water and have kind of like tested what it looks like to actually press the soil and get the cubes in the tray, and now I'm gonna put it onto my actual tray. Okay, so one of the things that you need is another tray to put your soil blocks onto. This year I'm using like lunch trays. In the past I've used what is it called? Like a normal garden tray where they're like 10 by 12, and I just found that they're not sturdy enough, and this will be a little bit sturdier once I get all the soil on here and have to water, and there's like enough of a lip that I'll be able to water from the bottom on here. The next thing you'll see is that I have my little ice cube trays. These are old trays I have, but I found last year that when I separate out the seeds, I don't have to fumble with the packets when I go to actually use them, when I actually go to put the seeds in the soils. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I got 8 rows of soil blocks put on this tray. So I have some peppers and some tomatoes. I went ahead and covered it in saran wrap to try and keep the moisture in just until the seeds start to pop up. Peppers and tomatoes really need heat to germinate, and so you'll see that there's a heating mat underneath, and then we've just got LED shop lights above it, and I'll put this on a smart timer so that we can make sure that the seedlings are getting like 10 to 12 hours of light a day. I don't remember actually how much they need. So that's about it. We're gonna go ahead and finish planting all the other seeds and go from there. Okay, so we just finished our last tray of seeds. I put the saran wrap on top. I'm gonna take it over and put it on the shelf. We got 5 different trays of seeds. I'll get to watch them and water them every couple of days, make sure they're not drying out. And in a couple weeks, I'll actually up pot some of the other plants like the tomatoes or the peppers once they kind of outgrow the soil blocks. But they'll probably stay in there for at least a month, if not longer. And I think that's it for today.